Welcome to the SlideShare presentation for creating a custom-made shipping box. This SlideShare presentation is in 3 parts. First, we will begin by covering the don'ts when shipping your work. These are fundamental concerns for shipping jewelry, small objects, or sculpture to gallery, stores, and exhibitions. Whether it's production or one of a kind, there are some shipping practices that are definitely a do not do. The presentation will continue with a step-by-step tutorial for creating a custom-made interior shipping box for one-of-a-kind work. Then we will review the information just to make sure that you understand the essential issues. Carefully packed work for shipping greatly reduces the risk of damage and fosters a more professional impression when your work arrives at its destination. At the end of this presentation, I will review the most important issues to keep in mind when shipping your work. Shipping is the thread that connects our studios to the world. Quality packing implies quality work. It clearly establishes your expectation for better handling by a gallery or exhibition staff. Clear instructions for unpacking, installation, display, along with repacking instructions will offer better protection for your artwork. This is especially important for artists and makers at the beginning of their careers. When showing your work at smaller exhibition venues or nonprofits, they often have limited staff or possibly volunteers lacking extensive installation experience. So first, let's start with a number of common mistakes that should be avoided when packing and shipping your work. Do not label your boxes with the word jewelry. Do not use the word jewelry in the shipping address or return label, even if jewelry is part of the business name. The word jewelry on your box makes your package a target for theft. Some companies like Parcel Pro will not even accept your box with the word jewelry on the exterior. Next, don't use a box with printed product information on the outside of the box. This is a mistake for a number of reasons. Aside from the fact that it doesn't look professional to put your work in a box originally intended for a printer, the U.S. Postal Service will not accept boxes with product information on the exterior. More important, it makes your box a target for theft. Shipping in this Apple box would be a huge mistake. Again, it's just an obvious target for stealing. This actually happened to my daughter last week. The unfortunate reality is that a lot of people want an Apple computer more than they want your jewelry or sculpture. Do not, under any circumstances, use a box previously used for food products. The problem is that food packaging for anything from the grocery store, from cereal and crackers to fruit and produce, often carries small bugs and insects that may eat your work. All accredited museums will be appalled to receive any box of food packaging and may not even allow it into the museum premises. The possibility of insects could jeopardize the safety of the artwork in their collections or in their exhibitions. They take this very seriously, as it might even jeopardize their museum accreditation. Bubble wrap is a common packing material that can be very convenient. It also has its own hazards and can be inappropriately used as a packing material. Personally, I never want bubble wrap to touch my artwork for fear it will stick to the painted surface and damage it. A more common mistake is the combination of bubble wrap and clear plastic tape. Never, never do this. Never wrap your work in bubble wrap and then seal it with clear plastic tape. Removing the clear plastic tape is difficult. Even worse, it usually damages the bubble wrap, making the bubble wrap unusable for return packing. At an even greater risk is cutting through the plastic tape, which risks damage to your artwork. If you think that bubble wrap is the best packing material for your artwork, use colored masking tape, which is both easy to see and easy to remove. Moving on to packing recommendations for production work. Ziploc bags are an easy and common solution. Each item is in a small plastic bag, easy for the artist and the store. Tissue paper is a more environmental solution, and if you want, you can even buy low-acid tissue paper for long-term storage. Remember that you should always include a packing list or inventory sheet. This is very important for inventory management. Also, make sure that the name and address of both the shipper and the receiver is inside your box in case the exterior of your box is damaged. Double boxing your work is incredibly important. Make sure there is at least 1 inch or more between the interior shipping box and the exterior shipping box. Some shipping companies actually require double boxing. They require that the shipper provide adequate protection for the artwork. If you did not double box your work, they may consider your claim for damaged work invalid, even if the damage is obviously negligence on their part when handling the box. Adequate packing is your responsibility. Now we're going to move on to the step-by-step tutorial for creating packing for one-of-a-kind artwork. You will also be able to find this information in the professional guidelines, including the SlideShare presentation with audio of this tutorial. There's the address, the complete URL, and a tiny URL created for your convenience. I assume in most cases this custom-made box is for higher value items that require better packing. If shipping to an exhibition where selling is not the primary focus, it is essential for your packing box to be reusable. There is also a printable version of this PowerPoint presentation that you can use as a handy step-by-step tutorial when you're creating your own box. This document is in the professional guidelines. Of course, your primary and most important safety measure for a custom-made shipping crate is double boxing. And before I forget to tell you, Tupperware makes a great reusable container for shipping jewelry or small objects. You can use a plastic container as your interior shipping box instead of a cardboard box. Tupperware comes in all sizes from small to quite large plastic tubs. The plastic is tough, offers great protection, and most important, the lid secures tightly without tape. If you are using a cardboard box, make sure your box looks like it's new and in good condition. If I am using a brown box, then I use gummed water-activated tape so it matches and looks good. In this example, you can actually reuse a box, but it's a very important issue to remove, or maybe I should say conceal, the obvious pre-use of this package. I don't want one of my one-of-a-kind artworks in a box from Amazon. I don't want the barcode or the brand name from another product on my box for shipping artwork. This doesn't look professional. The advantage of the brown, gummed, water-activated tape is that it can easily conceal all marks and make this box look as good as new. If I'm using a white cardboard box for one of my one-of-a-kind works, then I use white gummed water-activated tape. It can be hard to find both the brown and white paper tape, usually requiring a trip to the packaging store or buying from a shipping supply. I usually buy as many as 5 to 10 rolls at a time to get a better price. And while we're talking tape, do not use self-adhesive tape. Self-adhesive tape is not acceptable for USPS, that's the post office, for registered mail, which is still the least expensive and safest method for shipping high-value work. Before you start making your custom-made shipping box, you need flannel. I usually wait for it's on sale and buy quantities at half price. And you'll also need to buy upholstery foam. It comes in all thicknesses from about 1/2 inch to 3 inches. The thinner foam is more flexible, but you can always cut the thick foam into thinner layers using a sharp, large chef's kitchen knife. It works the best for cutting foam. Take my word for it. A large chef's knife cuts right through the foam better than a mat knife. It is also surprising how quickly soft upholstery foam makes your knife dull. So be prepared to sharpen your knife frequently. To make your custom-made shipping box, you will need tacky glue and a glue gun. For this step-by-step tutorial, we're going to make a box for my Seder plate titled Eons of Exodus. Keep in mind that the hours invested in making this custom-made shipping box, let's say it usually takes me 1 to 6 hours, is well worth the effort. I know that my work will arrive safely and that if it is ever damaged, no shipping company will ever be able to say that I didn't pack my work properly. If I ever have to file a claim for damaged work, the documentation will take at least as long as it's taken me to make this box. So investing in making my custom-made shipping box is well worth the effort. Start with a nice clean box, which hopefully fits the artwork with 1 inch space between the artwork and the outside of the box. Cut foam for the top and bottom layer that fits inside the box. In this example, I needed a 3rd layer of foam to surround the base and support the understructure. All layers of the artwork need to be supported in the packing just in case the box is dropped. Fit foam to box checking to make sure that your foam layers fit inside, not too tight. You need to have room for the flannel. Start building foam layers to fit around your artwork. The foam must surround the artwork on all sides and underneath. There can be no movement of the artwork inside the box during shipping. Movement causes abrasion and possible breakage during shipping. Double check that all the foam layers fit into the box and then glue the bottom layers of foam inside the box because you don't want the bottom foam to be removed during unpacking. Your next step is to start covering the foam with flannel. The artwork should only touch the soft flannel during shipping. In this example here with the Seder plate, foam triangles were needed in the corners to fit around the artwork. This will prevent movement during shipping. Do not glue these corners into place. Instead, you'll cover the foam triangles with flannel, write instructions on the flannel with a Sharpie. That works really well for this. It writes on the flannel, does not fade, and it's permanent. It never rubs off on the artwork. Then you glue felt straps to the foam triangles, one end to the foam triangle and the other end to the inside of the box. This is so the foam triangles can be lifted out, but they can never be lost during packing and unpacking of the artwork. Next, you'll cover the top foam layer in flannel. The top foam layer protects the artwork during shipping. It needs to be 1 inch margin on top of the artwork. In this case, the top flannel is attached to the box with black felt straps. The goal is to make it possible to lift out each foam layer during unpacking, but it cannot be lost. We're almost done. Here you can see the top flannel attached to the box on the left. And again, just to reinforce, the purpose of the flannel covered in foam is to protect the artwork. The black flannel straps on the left allow the foam to be lifted off. What makes this system so great is that no one can close the shipping box without putting all the foam layers back into the box, even if your artwork has already been removed. This way your artwork is always packed the right way every time when you're packing the artwork. Write instructions on the flannel using a Sharpie marker. I always include gloves in your box. If you put gloves on the top layer of your box, anyone who is unpacking your artwork will see them before they touch the artwork. If they are professionals, they will already be wearing gloves. If they have forgotten to wear gloves, this is an unmistakable message, even if they didn't read your instructions. I use brads to close my box. These can be bought at any office supply. And if you want something fancier, craft supplies like Michael sell all kinds of decorative brads, usually used for scrapbooking. Push the brad through the cardboard, open it on the other side, and hot glue it into place. The string will wrap around the brads and tie the box shut. Brads and string tie the box shut without tape. This is a reusable method. It means that no one will ever use tape on your interior shipping box. Using tape ruins the box. In no time, your box looks like garbage. And after you've put this much effort into making a custom-made shipping box for your artwork, you want it to last for a long time and look good. Glue instructions to your interior shipping box. Yes, I glue instructions to my boxes and include a copy inside. The instructions include unpacking instructions, assembly instructions, display instructions, maintenance, packing, and shipping. Unpacking instructions include issues like please wear gloves and how to remove the artwork from the box. Assembly instructions are very detailed and specific for each artwork. Your assembly instructions will be different, or perhaps there's no need for assembly instructions at all. Display instructions are also specific for each artwork. If you have no expectations for how your artwork is displayed, that's fine. But if you do, a drawing or photo or written instructions are often helpful as a tutorial to make your expectations clear. Maintenance instructions should also be very specific. Don't assume anything. If part of the artwork should be polished or plastic cleaner used for cleaning plastic, recommend a specific product or brand name. Packing and shipping instructions should also be specific, detailed, and step-by-step. Another idea would be to include pictures, either drawings or photos. Experience has taught me that this information is much appreciated and helps assure that the artwork will be repacked properly. I also assume that many times an exhibition may have inexperienced volunteers. If the staff is professional, they will be impressed with your efforts. My packing and shipping instructions also include do not tape or mark this box. For me, this is really important. Plastic tape to close the box is a common practice and it ruins my box. I also write, do not ship UPS on my instructions. In my experience, UPS is the worst possible shipping company for one-of-a-kind exhibition work. They have limits on insurance, and handling is very rough. Use UPS for production work only. Make labels for your box. Please wear a glove when handling artwork is glued to my box in multiple locations. I don't want anyone handling exhibition work without gloves. All media have this concern in common. Paper and fiber work should never be touched with hands. Metal and glass pick up fingerprints. Wood can be adversely affected by acid from people's hands. I also recommend making labels for care and maintenance. If showing your artwork, for example, in sunlight or bright light is a concern, make sure this is clear on your labels. Always include your name and address inside the box. If your exterior shipping box is damaged, this is your backup plan so your artwork is not lost. The Professional Guidelines has a condition report which you should use for exhibition work. Always note the slightest scratch, wear, or blemish before it leaves the studio. The Professional Guidelines condition report can be found on my website. I realize this is a very long URL, so I made a tiny URL. This is all you have to write down to find the condition report from the Professional Guidelines. So before we conclude, let's have a quick review for the critical issues when shipping art or craft. Double box with an interior shipping box and an exterior shipping box. Include your name and address inside the box. Well-designed, reusable packing is essential so that your artwork will arrive safely. Boxes need to be easily opened, unpacked, repacked, and shipped again. This process is repeated with every show, but especially during a traveling show. Tie the box shut. This is really important. My brad and string solution is one method I have worked out. You might have other ideas, but don't use tape. And finally, provide instructions for every aspect of your work: unpacking, assembly, display, maintenance, and packing, along with the shipping instructions. Don't forget your condition report from the Professional Guidelines. Look for additional SlideShare presentations for examples of how to unpack work from a custom-made box. Well, if you're looking for the shipping handout, look at this tiny URL. Check the Professional Guidelines for the condition report. If your work is ever damaged, look for the Professional Guidelines. There is a document titled Claims for Damaged Work. Your professional quality packing will assure that no insurance or shipping company can say that your work was not packed adequately. Here's the URL for the Professional Guidelines. Look for additional information about shipping in the Professional Guidelines, the Professional Development Seminar, or ask your questions on Ask Harriete. That's all, folks.